Our cruise started on the canal adjacent to Slottsholmen Island, containing Christiansborg Palace and its church. The island is also known as the Island of Power because its buildings are home to many government organisations. From there we headed out into the main harbour. The standard building was originally a customs house, but it's now 2 restaurants. After going under a pedestrian bridge, we turned left into Nijhaven, or, in English, the New Harbour. Our boat had pictograms warning to keep arms in and down because of the number of very low bridges on the tour. Nijhaven is much photographed, and the old fishing boats add to its charms, although now some are restaurants or even hotels. The end of the passage was the first hop-off point, and it was appropriate to do just that, to see more of the harbour's colourful buildings from a higher level. Back on the boat, we returned to the main harbour to pass by the Royal Danish Playhouse, the home of the Royal Danish Ballet School. Other buildings were either restored old warehouses or new builds in that style. Craft in the water were many and varied, from rowing boats to warships, harbour ferries to giant cruise liners, and even a twin otter seaplane, which provides the short hop service to Aarhus. A very popular hop-off point on the tour was at the Little Mermaid, the subject of one of Hans Christian Andersen's fairy tales. Next we passed by the Royal Pavilions, 2 little shelters used by passengers prior to boarding the royal yacht. The head office of the Maersk Container Shipping Company is known as the House of 1,000 Blue Eyes. More warehouse-style buildings were followed by glimpses of the rear of the Amalienborg palaces and the dome of the marble church, both of which I later visited. The next impressive modern building was the Opera House, completed in 2005 at a cost of over £400 million. This fishing boat was returning from a tourist trip out to the Sound. These paddle boards must surely rank as the smallest craft in the harbour. At the other side of the main harbour from Nijhaven was Christianshavn. When we turned into it, we found a traffic jam because a yacht with a tall mast had required a bridge to be raised. Once it was fully lowered again, we were able to progress, as were the many cyclists who had had to wait to cross it. Christianshavn was a busy channel, and with boats being berthed end-on at one side and double parked at the other, it meant a tight squeeze when two craft had to pass.
So now we have the next bridge, and after that look to your left hand side where you can see the church.
Midway along there was another hop-off point to allow me to get views from dry land. Go boats were self-drive, as of course were the kayaks. As well as the large barge-type tour boats, there were rather more personal tours available, such as offered by a captain. It was time to move on again and return to the main harbour. As part of a walking route round the harbour, a new circle pedestrian bridge had been built, its design inspired by the masts of sailing boats. Immediately opposite the bridge was the Black Diamond Library, a 1999 extension to the Royal Danish Library. The next turn off the main harbour took us past the Blocks building, completed in 2018. It houses the Danish Architecture Centre exhibitions and hosts various cultural events. We were then in Frederiksholm Canal, one of the waterways creating Slottsholmen Island. The next bridge was called the Marble Bridge, although it was actually sandstone with a marble top. It had been the main entrance to Christiansborg Palace, hence the pair of ornate pavilions to its left. The black tires on the wall ahead were warnings of a very tight corner, requiring some clever manoeuvring by our captain. On going round the final bend, we were back to our starting point.